Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. It's easy for us to get distracted. I'm an alcoholic. I just said that, right? I could be talking to you 1 second and go, squirrel. How many times we do that? I'm not sure my alcoholism has anything to do with that ability to get distracted. I think that was like that before I became alcoholic, but I know my alcoholism made it worse. And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. How it's easy for us to get distracted, especially in early sobriety, and to get so distracted it pulls us out of the rooms. These are problems I want to talk about today. Some of the things you'll see in early sobriety that may take you out of the rooms because we get so distracted. And so I wanted to take a few minutes today and share some of these things. One of the first things that I noticed in early sobriety that could have very well possibly driven me out of the room is personality clashes. Personality differences, I should say. It's easy for us to walk into a room full of drunks and drug addicts who are not perfect by any means. Again, it's a perfect program for imperfect people. So we walk into a room full of imperfect people, and we have to remind ourselves that, I'm sick and other folks in there are just as sick as I am. Do we really expect to get along with every single person? No. Personality conflicts are going to arise. Personality clashes are going to arise. But I want to remind you of this one thing that my sponsor told me. I remember it was my first personality conflict, if you will. And I called my sponsor. I was really upset. And he said, Drew, he said, aren't you glad you're not going to meetings for other people? And I was like, oh, shit, that's a good point. See, I'm not there to be liked. I'm not there to like people. I'm not there to hang out with people per se. I'm not there to be buddy, best buddies, pen pal, letter, buddies with people. I'm there for me. I'm there to fill up my spiritual cup. While I want to like people, and I'm going to try make my damnedest effort to get along and be cordial with everybody, at the end of the day, I'm not there for anybody else. I'm there for me. And sure, yes, I need to be of maximum service, absolutely. But if I got a personality conflict with somebody, I just don't need to associate with them. They can sit on one side of the room, I can sit on the other side of the room, because again, I'm there for me and my recovery. Again, it's a perfect program for imperfect people, and sometimes those personality conflicts arise. Another thing I see, I noticed early on in sobriety, in my road to recovery, people like to gossip. What did we expect? What did we expect? Again, we're walking into a room full of drunks and drug addicts, and it's easy for myself. It's easy to get caught up in those gossip. It's easy for me to start gossiping and not even realize I'm gossiping about people. I try like the devil to make sure I don't do that, because I don't want to do that. I'm not there to gossip about people. It's one thing to hear something and just kind of bookmark it and move on, but don't go and repeat it. When I hear people gossip and people, they're unintentionally, I believe, are trying to get me in on that gossip, I don't want to participate. I want to pray. I want to pray for the person. Did you see what Jimmy did? Did you see what Johnny did? Did you see what Susie said? Did you hear what Susie said? Okay, guess what? That's on them. Sounds like we probably need to be saying some prayers for them. I am not immune from this by any means. I have caught myself going down that rabbit hole, and that's just a rabbit hole I don't want to go. Again, when you start getting close to that, you got to be aware and start getting close to the edge of gossip. Start praying instead of participating. Balancing time. That's another problem. I had an example last night. When I go to meetings to fill up my spiritual cup. I love my meetings. I need my meetings. That's what keeps me sober. And sometimes it becomes tough to juggle, to balance time with other responsibilities in life. And that's why I got sober, was to learn how to become a responsible human being. And so once I got clean and sober, that meant I had to start assuming some of those responsibilities. And it's still tough, even now, and I'm 3.5 years in. But in early sobriety, it's easy for us to get distracted because we got to work later, we got to run the kids over here. I get it. I understand. I missed a meeting last night that I've been going to, and I really like that meeting. I had to miss it because I had other responsibilities come up. That's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up all over it. I'm going to take today off as well. Like I normally take the day off from meetings, take Mondays off from meetings, and then I'll be back at meetings tomorrow night. I can't do anything about it. I'm not going to let it distract me. Again, these are all these distractions that can drive us out of the rooms when we're in early recovery. Strained relationships. That's another one too. That's when I came into the rooms of recovery. I'd been married 18 months or 18 years. I'm sorry, don't tell my wife. I've been married 18 years, and I was trying to hit these meetings. I was trying to fix myself. Again, the problem was up here, and I had to fix up here, and so I had to pour myself into meetings. I had to stay in meetings, and it created a strain in our relationship, in our marriage. No question about it. But I always pose this question: what was more stressful to the marriage? My drinking, my alcoholism, or me being gone in an AA meeting? What was more stressful? I'm sure my wife would much rather me be sober and be gone for a little bit every single night at an AA meeting, as opposed to me being home, being drunk, and being an asshole. I mean, it's be prepared. This is another distraction that can drive us back out of the rooms. And the last one I want to talk about is relapse. Relapse is probably one of the biggest distractions. The last couple of days, actually, I've talked to a few folks who have relapsed, and they're upset. They feel guilty. They feel shameful. They feel disappointed, all in themselves. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just happy you're still alive. I'm just happy you're still breathing. I'm happy that you're still willing to pick yourself up and move forward, put it on the shelf, and move forward. At the end of the day, that's what matters. And I know people who they will relapse and they will feel guilty and feel shameful and remorseful. And then they say, hell with it. I've already fucked up. Might as well go ahead and keep fucking up. That's again, that relapse can be used as a distraction. I've said this 1,000 times. When we're in a meeting, our addiction is in the parking lot waiting for us, and he's got backup. Right? When we are sleeping, our addiction is on our headboard doing push-ups, jumping jacks, set-ups, running in place. It's getting ready. It's waiting for us to get distracted and to fuck up, so it can catch us and catch us at the most vulnerable time. And once, especially when it comes to relapse, once we do relapse, it starts reminding us, oh, see, you fucked up. You might as well go ahead and stay. Relapse is just as big of a distraction. All these things I've talked about so far are absolute distractions. And in early sobriety, it's easy for us to get distracted. Don't get fooled. Don't get distracted by personality conflicts. Somebody you don't get along with, ignore them. Say hi, how are you, and move on, keep going. When you hear people gossiping, just walk away, or just say, oh, that's great. Listen, by the way, and change the topic. Balancing time. Try to be up front and say, hey, look, this is the schedule to get to these meetings. I feel that I need to be at, but understand that things may come up. Again, we got clean and sober so we can start accepting responsibility. And that means assuming some of that responsibility. Sometimes life gets in the way. And strained relationships. Again, I remember reminding my wife, look, would you rather me be gone for an hour or so, a couple hours a night at an AA meeting trying to fix myself, or would you rather me stay home and be an asshole? It's easy for us to get distracted whenever our relationships are strained and we feel like things are a little out of whack at home. At the end of the day, it comes down to us trying to balance everything across the board. Our addiction only has us to focus on. We have other things we have to focus on, jobs and kids and families and other responsibilities. It's easy for us to get distracted. And I want to make sure I take this opportunity to remind you guys that just because we get distracted, we got to keep our eye on the prize. And the prize for me, the goal for me, is to make it to the end of my day drawing a sober breath. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to have discussed, feel free to drop it into an email to me, Drew, D-R-E-W, at recoveryclassroom.org. I'll take a look at it. See what we can do. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.